All good. All good. Good to have you here. Thanks for all the dealing with all the technical difficulties.
No problem. Yeah, just super excited. And yeah, honored for you both to ask me to join you too.
Hell
Good,
yeah.
we're honored you wanted to join. To kick things off, I do want to give a little bit of an introduction. We've met, I feel, a lot, but we've never actually talked to each other in person. So this is another extended conversation through the virtual world. But Brandon is the older brother of esteemed Earn Your Couch guest Tyler Morales. You live in Seattle, Washington, and I just want to introduce you by telling everyone who's listening your Strava stats, if that's okay. And so I threw it into ChatGPT just to like give me some fun ways to describe how far you've ran in the year 2025. And so
I'm
let me just
excited to hear that too. This is not a way I've looked up my Strava information before, so this is going to be as entertaining for me as it is for anyone else.
okay. So in 2025, you have run 2,400 miles, which is basically running from Seattle to Miami, or running 100 marathons in 2025 so far. You've logged 212 runs, almost 80 miles per week. That's like running 3 marathons a week every week. And you've climbed a total of 301,000 feet of elevation gain, which is equivalent of climbing Mount Everest 10 times or hiking every 14,000 foot peak in America twice. I don't know. I gotta check
That's
that one.
cool.
That seems
I like
insane.
that.
And there's no slowing down. So you're currently training for a 200 miler. I know with Tyler.
Yeah, so that is in, oh yeah, first off, thanks for the info. That's fascinating. I just started using ChatGPT a little bit more and we'll definitely like ask it some questions about Strava. I like data and stats and graphs and stuff like that. So putting that into that type of perspective is fascinating to me. But yeah, so the 200 is in Mammoth Lakes. It starts on September 26th, which is a Saturday. So Mammoth Lakes is it's a few hours south of Lake Tahoe, if anyone doesn't know where that is. A little bit south of Yosemite, and the big, I guess, like the big peak there is Mammoth Mountain, which sits at 11,000 something feet high. So the race itself is 200 miles. I don't really have a goal time, never really done that distance before, so it's kind of going to be hard to figure out the pacing strategy, but it'll definitely take a couple to a few days. Um, so yeah, a few days and nights of running and just over a month away. So yeah, training's ramped up quite a bit, hitting a few peak weeks right now, and we'll taper down a little bit and get out to Tahoe about a week before the race to get a bit acclimated um, to the uh, to the altitude so that I can get comfortable running at 10,000 feet. And yeah, really excited. It's the first annual. So like they've never done this race before. They just got permits earlier in the year for us to be able to do this. Um, yeah. So really, really excited. It's gonna be pretty. A lot of climbing. I think there's about 30 something thousand feet of climbing over the 200 miles up and down. So 60 something thousand feet of elevation change total. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm excited to put myself through the ringer. I know Tyler is as well, and it's yeah. I've never looked more forward to a race before, even though I know it's gonna be the hardest one I've ever done.
200 is
That's awesome.
nuts. That's awesome though. Cuz you said you haven't done anything close to 200 before. You've done 100 before, right? Like recently
Yeah,
with
so I've
Tyler?
done I've done one official race that's been 100, but I've done I think three efforts total that have been 100 or more. Yeah.
Well, and this is Coleman. I don't know if you saw this on Strava when Brandon posted it, but you had like a Friday where you just kind of said, you know what, I need to do hard things, and so you just like after work ran until you hit 100 miles and then basically went to bed at like 9 in the morning on Saturday. Is that
Yeah, that was
is
actually
that
one of
is
the
that
few
right?
times that you and I talked, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, Tyler being kind of like my partner in crime for these types of activities, like whether he's physically there or not. Um, we support each other like over the phone, through text, or like whatever it is. Just like we kind of know that we're there for each other. So naturally, like after any type of event like this, I call him or we FaceTime, and you happen to be with him. So we got to chit chat a little bit. I may have been in a bit of a manic state, so just like a little like overwhelmed with it. But yeah, that was fun. It was really, really hard. And there's been a couple times like that one in particular, and then like one other time where I've kind of just like planned it. I probably planned that like maybe 24 hours in advance or a day and a half in advance. And I don't know what it is that goes through my head that just like gives me the inspiration to do those things, but they excite me. And I was talking to my friend yesterday about this, and I was having a hard time like coming up with the words for it, but essentially like they excite me because I know they're going to be challenging. I know I've put in the work to be able to do that type of effort, even though it at the time it still seems like a stretch. I'm confident in something being a stretch, but me being able to accomplish it for whatever reason. I
Hmm.
think I've seen and heard about enough stories of people planning out, difficult things, whether it's an organized race or just a self-led effort. And so yeah, sometime during that week, I think yeah, Wednesday or Thursday, it popped into my head, and I was like, I get off work on Friday at 2 or 3, gonna get home, and I wanted to my body was feeling good, so I just wanted to put it on the line and see where I could take myself. And so I yeah, got home, took a quick nap because I was going to be up all night, and loaded up the gear, all the fuel. And so a lot of these things that I do are self-supported too, so I take everything with me. And
Right.
the quote unquote aid stations are gas stations where I can refill my water, buy a little bit of food and such. But for the most part, I'm bringing pretty much everything I need with me. And yeah, so I set off at, oh gosh, I don't know. Like, yeah, like it took about 18 hours, I think, 18 or 19 hours. So whatever that is in the afternoon up until the morning. I think, yeah, I finished at 7 or 8 and FaceTime Tyler, and you were there. But
And this isn't like, I know in the past you've done like maybe like a 4 mile loop a bunch of times to hit numbers. I know you did like
yeah.
last man standing, and I know Tyler's done stuff like that before. Was this like the 100 miles? I forget. Completely new terrain the entire way, like mapped out, or
So yeah, so I'd done each bit of this run before. Actually, last year I did it, and Tyler joined me too as a fundraiser. So I have a nonprofit up here in Seattle that I run, which we may or may not get to. But I put together a loop or a couple loops in Seattle. One that circumnavigates the entirety of Lake Washington, which ends up being like 55 to 60 miles, pops back to my place, where I can change really quickly, refill everything, and then just head on out to this other 45-ish mile loop around. It goes through that goes around the entirety of the city. So uh, out. Oh, I guess I won't get into like specific geographic points, and since not everybody knows like what Seattle is, but it does a full circle around Seattle, which is about 45 miles or so, and then ends up back at my house. So I
and
did that last year as a fundraiser, and ended up being, yeah, just over 100 miles with some slight differences in the route. But I had done the whole thing before. Um, but yeah, two big loops basically that both end at my house.
that's cool. And when you're doing these fundraisers for food intentions, I
Hmm.
do want to talk about that.
Cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's one. How did you get started with it? What is it? For those who don't know, and I should
Sure.
get clarity.
Yeah. So Food Intentions is my nonprofit. Um, I started it. So I moved up to Seattle in February of 2020. So peak COVID, started the nonprofit in December of 2020. So I've always been um, one way I enjoy spending my free time is giving back to the community, and it just, I mean, for a variety of reasons, but one of those just feeling purposeful, and um, I've had a pretty like, I don't know, more or less posh upbringing as far as having everything I needed and not needing, like our family was, not like super well off, but we were, middle-ish class. And so we had everything we need. We were never on food stamps or needed any assistance or anything like that. And so I always felt good with where I was at. And growing up, my mom would take us to this place called Sacred Heart Community Services, where we would just do community service. And it was always families coming in and stuff. Um, and they would need, groceries and meals and stuff. And so we would, help provide that with them for, an hour in a week. And so I did this middle school, elementary school. And so that's like really where I got invested into giving back to the community. And that continued to grow. I went to a high school that was very focused around community service. And so that kind of just continued. Moving up here and being on my own, I really wanted to continue that trajectory of giving back and helping the community. It just really made me feel fulfilled and made me feel like I am being able to give what I can to people that needed things more than me. And so December 2020, COVID got to a point where like you couldn't really go in and volunteer places. And so I kind of wanted to start something on my own. And for those of you, or for those that don't know, I'm also in recovery. So I've been sober for about 7.5 years. My sobriety date is 11/11/2017. And so that's also been a big part of me giving back, just because I've, hit a handful of low points, and I know what that feels like, and it sucks. So I wanted to be able to support those people. And all those things said, it's kind of a huge compilation of reasons and things that got me to Food Intentions, but the purpose of it is twofold. First one is to be able to support Black-run restaurants up in Seattle. The Black Lives Matter movement, while I was kind of having this thought of creating something, was pretty prominent up here, and saw a lot of people posting about it. And it's something that timing wise just caught my attention as far as me wanting to spark a movement via action, and a good opportunity to do so. And that timing really just like brought my focus to that movement. And so I raised money through subscriptions, GoFundMe donations, fundraisers like the 100 Mile Run, which I actually was able to raise like 12 grand, and all
Wow.
that went to Food Intentions. And so I take all this like pool of money and I bring it to restaurants and I buy meals to support them financially, post about it on social media to give them shout outs, to suggest, these new places to people that aren't familiar with the culture, the food, and all the restaurants are super good too. I always buy myself a meal when I go, and I either eat it, typically not at the restaurant, but I'll go out to the community and I'll, eat whatever
Yeah.
type of food it is with whoever I'm dropping it off to. And then kind of leads to the second part of the mission, which is to feed underserved communities in Seattle. And most of it is bringing the food to encampments. So I'll do about like 50, or 30 to 50 meals a week. I'm upwards of like 12,000 meals total so far over the past 5 years, which is super rad and not really anywhere near. That's like far beyond
Yeah.
anything I expected. And so that's been really, really rewarding. And yeah, so I'll take the meals. So yeah, mostly encampments, but I'll bring them to tiny home villages, women, children's centers. We have organized tent cities up here in Seattle that are partnered with the University of Washington. And yeah, so it's been really cool. It's been great.
Do
And
you do,
oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
do you work on that on your by yourself, or do you have a team with you, or is that just Brandon Morales
Yeah, it's
driven?
Yes, self. Well, I mean, inspired by a lot of other things, but yeah,
Sure.
it's a independent individual project. I invite some people to join me on these like deliveries. Some of my closest friends, I ask if they can um, like join me, and so recently I've had a couple of my best friends up here come and do the deliveries with me, which is like the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
Just because they just care about like what I'm passionate about, and I think that says a lot about them as individuals and as friends and stuff like that. And then yeah, other times I'll have people join me. It's been harder recently um, for a variety of reasons, but it's yeah, I'll typically just go out on my own and do these things, and it's nice because it's really flexible. It's just me, so like whenever I want to go out and do a delivery, I'll just call a restaurant a few days ahead of time. We'll set up a time, amount of meals, what the meals are going to be, price point, all that stuff, and then I'll just swing by, pick them up, and drop them off to wherever I'm bringing them to.
It's smart. So you raise the money, you buy from black-owned restaurants, and then you use the meals that you buy to feed center or community centers and
Yeah,
encampments and stuff. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, it's
I knew it
cool.
had something to do with supporting restaurants, and it was in Seattle, and but that makes a whole lot of sense. It's really smart.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, thank you.
when
And to
you're
do that,
in,
oh, sorry, Jake.
no, go ahead, Cole.
Well, I just think hearing you say all that is really cool that you doing that by yourself, really. Like you're doing a lot of that work by yourself, which can be a lot at the same time when you're balancing out, your work life, you're balancing out the running aspect to it, your personal life, family life. Um, do you, and you can take your time answering this, this might be a little bit deep, but have you learned anything like about yourself, like through that process? Like anything that kind of surprised you before you started doing that type of thing?
Specifically the nonprofit, or just having a foot in all these different like parts of my life. Which part?
More part the nonprofit part, because it's something a
Okay.
lot of people don't take part in. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. Um, I guess two things in particular, or at least that come to mind right now. Um, the first is the importance of being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And by that, especially like in the United States and living in a big city, I think a lot of us get caught up in just, like the rat race and focusing on keeping up with everything. And um, whether that's comparing yourselves to someone or comparing yourselves to, your old self and trying to improve. Uh, I think we, lose focus of our community and what community means. And it's yeah, and like I said, it's a lot bigger than ourselves. And I think taking the time to do that and to step away from everything we have going on internally and looking outwards, it really gives us a sense of being grateful for what we have, because a lot of times in almost any situation, there's someone, whatever it is that we're going through, there's someone that has less, someone who's going through something harder, and someone who has more challenges, relatively speaking, in their lives than we do in ours. And especially like myself, I have to remember that because like I said, like growing up as a kid, like I had everything, and I still feel like that's the case. I've had bumps, and everyone's dealt their deck of cards, but I have a lot as a whole. And so for myself personally, and I'm sure that whoever does similar work has their own story to it. But for me personally, it's just keeping myself grounded and realizing that I have a really good life, and I have the capacity, if I take that moment to be a part of something that's bigger than myself, I have the capacity to give back and do more. And for me, like having the inspiration to do that is can be tough, but once I actually do it, I get energy from it.
Mm,
instead of it draining me. Even though it's
yeah,
time consuming, even though I spend a couple hours a week going out, delivering meals, organizing things, partnering with restaurants, and like when I'm putting together my, daily tasks or weekly tasks and looking at my notes, it seems like it's gonna like add, it's like, oh, like do I have, these hours to add to this week and go do it? But in reality, I'm getting more from it than I'm putting into it. And that's huge. That
that's
keeps me
special.
going. It keeps me motivated. It helps me like and it helps me be a better person to others too. Like I feel like if I didn't have that project, I don't think I would be like as happy as I am right now because um one, it gives me purpose, and two, it just like it makes me feel fulfilled. And yeah, so that's the first piece of it. And the second piece of it is just the overall balance, like the like what it takes to have a variety of things in your life that are important to you. And I think, yeah, everybody has their family and friends. There's a lot of things that overlap for everybody, hobbies, family, friends, health, etc. And this is just like one of those things that I've found that I kind of just like took a shot in the dark and starting, and it's just become integral to my life. And I think everybody has those things in their life, whether they realize it or not. And this is just something that really gets me going.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's important to me. And
it's
yeah,
it seems like, and I've gleaned some of this just from the conversations that I've overheard you and Tyler have, our little interactions, uh, and also just who Tyler's become over the last few years as well.
he's a super cool dude. I
He's
think we're all lucky to know him.
I hope he feels that I feel lucky, like I hope that he always knows. I try to tell him how much I love him, like every time I see him, kind of thing. Because he's just the man. Um,
Yeah,
but it seems like both of you, but you especially, really operate out of a place of gratitude. Um, and it's evident with, being aware that you had a upbringing that was, you didn't have a lot of needs not met. And then going through what I would imagine led to recovery was
mm,
a low point, and you saw like what life could be. And I'm sure through that process you've gained a bunch, but then also you have this mentality of just like do hard things. It just brings like the joy out of life. And so you operate today as someone who focuses and prioritizes staying grounded, being grateful, and serving others. And one, that's an awesome summary. If anyone ever described me as that, I'd be fired up. Like, so How are you? Like, what's your philosophy? Like, is it tomorrow I could get hit by a bus and I'm gonna make the most of it? Is it, I haven't earned anything until I earn it? Like, what's your core principle?
yeah. Um, I think the very short answer to all that, and there's a lot deeper parts to it, and I'll talk about the deeper parts a little bit. But the short answer is it just feels good, um, at, as a whole, um, and it feels good because of the highs and lows and the effort and like sacrifice and everything. Like all that stuff is part of what makes the highs feel so high. And yeah, and I guess like speaking to it in a philosophical sense, I guess, or to put a word to it. Are you familiar with the term eudaemonia?
No, but I'm eager to learn.
Yeah. So I can't remember where I saw this. It was on a podcast or reading a book or something maybe a year or two ago. But there's this term. It's called eudaemonia. I believe it's a Greek term, and essentially it is a deeper meaning of the state of being happy, more so in a chronic sense instead of acutely, just like a state of um,
Hmm.
like or like a mindset. It's more so long term. But what's so special about it is that, and this is kind of like what inspires me and motivates me um, is the fact that this state of happiness and like not permanence, but just like longevity of feeling um, satisfied with everything comes from what you put into that. And so, for example, like if someone wins the lottery, like sure, like that's going to be like overwhelming and will bring you happiness, but it's different from eudaemonia. And well, because you get eudaemonia from the work that you put into it. And
Mm.
so, for example, like training or doing these efforts and putting in the work to something, making sacrifices like getting up early and all these other things. And it doesn't have to be running. For me, it's running. For me, it's a nonprofit, and but other people have their passions. It could be art, writing or tech or like whatever it is that people do. Or just having like strong relationships with your family and friends. It doesn't really matter what it is, but putting the time and effort into those things and gaining happiness because of the amount of like work and sacrifice that you're putting into those things brings up this state of being in a concrete sense that you can just really like feel and get a sense of euphoria that's like lasting and not like hits of dopamine, ups and downs. It's more so contentness with feeling good about what you have made from the opportunities that you've given or been given and what you've made, like how you've learned from your mistakes, how you've grown, how you've matured, and all these other things that have bringing you from point A to point D or point B in most likely not a linear way, but just kind of the slow trajectory of growth through um, trials and tribulations and other things. But that's definitely been something that I reflect on often, and the more I do things that or more like the more challenges I put myself through and the more like difficult things I do, the more I'm able to grasp that state of being and to be able to like feel it. And the happier I've become because of that.
I
So
love that
that's
concept.
kind of the philosophy behind eudaemonia is a true more um, it gives yourself agency and
Mm.
it like puts that happiness in your control as far as like you've given yourself that happiness because of the actions that you've done and the way you've taken action based off of certain opportunities that are there.
I love that.
It's
Cool. That
cool.
it's you've I've noticed that when I do the right things for myself, I feel the way that I want to feel, and then when I do the things that I know I shouldn't be doing, or it's a quick fix or whatever, uh,
Hmm.
it feels worse. It produces additional anxiety, as opposed to relieving of anxiety, and so it seems
Yeah.
like you've just put yourself in a state of like you're able to constantly do things that I'm not trying to you know make light of what you do, but what you do every day and every week is a constant like perpetual grounding and doing hard things. And I know that when I do hard things, that feeling that I get, so I can understand that that's now the baseline. I would imagine if you have a few days off, you go insane.
Yeah, I don't it makes me feel uncomfortable.
I would say with all those Strava stats, I don't know if Brandon takes any days off. Like that's
It's pretty
there's, I mean,
close.
days when I enjoy myself. I mean, I'm really looking forward to like not doing anything and just really like, and then spending a lot of time with my like family and friends after the
This
Mammoth
200.
race. Yeah, that'll be really nice. Yeah, I was talking to my friend like yesterday about just uh like the come down and just unraveling of like your thoughts and feelings and stuff from like a big effort or just like something. So my,
Yeah.
my friend Lindsay, shout out Lindsay, she just did her first marathon yesterday, which was super, which I could talk about for a while. She's an awesome friend and just like a really inspiring person, like her work ethic and everything else. But yeah, we were talking about just um, the satisfaction of spending time with people that you really care about and people that you love after some sort of effort, because that's what it's all about, is just like is sharing that with well, one, like sharing something that you love with people you love is just like
Yeah.
there's no better combination than that.
I get what you mean. That's really cool. Hearing you say all that is just it's another reminder of like for myself, I too, when I'm doing the hard things, feel better.
Mhm.
This morning I this morning I got up, I have a stationary bike, and I biked 20 miles, which
Nice.
isn't anything major at all.
Happy Sunday.
But it
No,
was
that's
I
that's solid. Yeah.
it's just doing something like that just makes you feel good because at the end of the day, it's not like it's super hard. It's no crazy mileage, but it's still a small little piece of effort that you put into the day that at the end of the day you're gonna know you did and you're gonna feel better. And so hearing you say all these things, it reminds me of like when Jake and I started the whole earn your couch mindset because do put in work, feel good, do the things you like to do, and you'll feel better at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And so I just really appreciate all that, and I appreciate you sharing all that because it's a reminder, and that reminder is gonna help me like take on this week and do something hard as well. So
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, I bet you, like, I think this podcast itself, like, you two doing this, I mean, you could be doing anything that you want on a Sunday morning, and like, you're doing this. I mean, I'm sure like you love it as well, but the amount of work and time and effort and just like facilitating, and especially, I mean, you two are in different areas, I'm
Yeah.
guessing, like not like in the same city, and so just like doing all that and then putting the work in and time in to be able to create something that is super cool and inspiring. And I've watched like a lot of your episodes and have really enjoyed them. And giving people a space, like for me, example, to share my experience and to talk to others about it. And this, I mean, this makes me happy because I'm so passionate about what I do, and I know that a lot of like your other guests feel the same way, and we really appreciate this, and I'm sure your listeners do as well. So, yeah, if anybody has like a bit of earned their couch in them, it's you two.
well, yeah, it's like when you were talking about like looking at your week, your notes for the week, and looking at what you had to do, and going, "Oh, do I really have the time to put in this 2 extra hours to go make the deliveries today?" Um, it's like there's times where I feel that way too with Earn Your Couch, where it's like, "Oh, do I have the time to sit down for 3 hours to do this today?" And then you kind of make that sacrifice to do it, and then while you're doing it, you're all, "Man, it's a reminder of why I'm doing it because this conversation
Yeah,
right now is 100% worth it. It gives you energy, fulfillment, which
It's
is what
a
you were referring to.
yeah.
it's a grounding activity. I think a lot any what I found there's like a lot of the grounding activities are really just opportunities to give space for reflection, and like
Mhm.
running gives you plenty of time to think. Um,
Yeah.
and we felt it like this summer we were both just gone a bunch for trips, and it was summer with good weather and boat season and yada yada yada. And so Earn Your Couch, the podcast, took a or it just took a backseat priority. And
Hmm.
we filmed like the most recent episode last week, and it was the first one in like a month and a half. And we one of the conversations was, what was missing when this was missing, and it was
Mm.
like it was reminders, it was opportunities to reflect, it was all the outside of the actual filming, that thinking that also goes into it, being like, oh, I'd love to bring that up with Coleman, and then you write it down and you journal about it. So like there's something that keeps us consistent. It's one of the reasons why we do it. Like it's not our jobs, obviously. But it's just it's like a digital diary almost,
Yeah.
a shared journal, and like we're really excited to be able to look back and have guests like you and Tyler and others, and just it's just an opportunity to talk to cool people who are doing cool shit, um, which is fun.
Nice.
Yeah, like a 200-mile race that's coming up, which once
It's
again
like
is like, what is going through your mind when you're thinking I'm gonna go run 200 miles? Like, is this something where you're like you're mentally preparing, but I mean you've been running so much that it's probably just gonna be another race for you at the end of the day. Um,
I bet you get
I
butterflies.
mean,
I bet you get the butterflies before any new milestone for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, for so many reasons. There's a lot of emotions, like, the excitement, the anxiety, the I would say confidence to a point. I mean, like as long as you put in the work um prior, then like you have no reason but to feel somewhat good about it, regardless of what you're going to embark on. But yeah, no, I mean, the 200 distance is, I mean, yeah, it scares me. Like it's definitely a lot of new terrain and just uncharted territory and something that I haven't experienced before. So like the multiple day, multiple night thing will be interesting and I'm sure a little disorienting, but fun nonetheless.
I don't know if this is a dumb question, all right, but so multiple day race. How many hours do you think you'll be sleeping in between running? Are you just running without sleeping? I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
dumb
so
question, but
we will sleep, and this is so Tyler and I still have to do quite a bit of game planning beforehand, and we'll set up some calls, and we'll both be in Tahoe a week in advance to sort some of this stuff out and put together our best guess of what we'll be doing. I think the tricky thing is like whatever we plan on doing, it's not going to be exact. There's so much that can go better than expected, and so much that can go worse than expected in that amount of time when you're exerting effort around the clock. Um, Climbing and descending and fueling and all these other things. Like there's just so many like elements and so many pieces to it that impact how well or not well it's going. And so I think the plan will be to sleep a few hours a night, and then just kind of wake up and do it all over again. We'll be taking like naps at certain points, I'm sure too. But to answer your question, like your guess is probably as good as mine. I mean, I think we'll be running for like 3 days ish, and probably sleeping like a total of 10 hours, maybe less, maybe more if we need
Oh
it.
my
I mean,
god.
yeah, it's so hard to tell, and I think that's why I'm so excited and scared at the same time. Like the amount of unknowns going into it for me for it being my first time is just like is like it's yeah, it's hard to comprehend. It's hard to like put it all in a story that I can tell as far as like what to expect and all that. And there's plenty of people that have done these before and they have their own experience with it, but everybody's is unique. And um, so I'm, yeah, going to have that unique experience and then be able to talk to it afterwards. But as far as like right now goes, I can imagine how the first day or so is going to go because I've done that a handful of times. But, the last two-thirds of it is something that
What's
I'm.
the is 100 the furthest to date?
Yeah, I've done 112
Okay.
before. That was on the road, so that was quite a bit quicker because there was not a lot of elevation change. I think I climbed like 4.5, maybe 5,000 feet, which sounds like a lot, but over the span of 112 miles, it's relatively flat. There was a couple climbs, but you know
Yeah.
you're running on road most of the time. So with 30,000 feet over 200 miles, it's going to be another animal. So.
you said that there's like some things that are definitely unknown. But is there anything like you're specifically looking forward to about the race in particular?
I mean, the course is going to be gorgeous. It's going to be really pretty. I've never been to that part of California before, or the country, or whatever. I've never been there before. So
New
seeing
land.
200 miles of a new landscape is going to be quite exhilarating. I'm sure that'll be one of the highlights. The people there are always great. Not there specifically, but just in the running and ultra community, like at the aid stations, like you just meet the coolest people. Like everyone there is volunteering. Everyone there is just like there for you, to support you, to cheer you on. All the other racers, like, and it's kind of cool because everybody kind of seems like they're on the same team, even though like you're technically competing against other people. Everybody there is like on your side and you're on their side, and you're all working together to get to the next aid station, to get to the finish line. And like, unless you're like trying to podium like one versus two versus three, like you're almost at a point where like you will like go out of your way to support others that seem like they need more support than you do, which is like, I think part of the whole community, or that's like part of like what fires me up about it. And just like the whole community, because it's like a lot of what I do at like Food Intentions. It's like you are, there for others, and others are there for you. Yeah, the Ultram community is quite special. So the people, I'm excited to meet a few awesome people, or a ton of awesome people. Excited to see the new space. Excited to run with my brother. Um, that is currently, and has been for the past couple years, like hands down my favorite thing to do in the world, is to race with Tyler. And I'll probably tell him a million times over the 3 days that we're running. And I tell him like a handful of times during every race. I just look at him when I go, even if we're like having the worst time, like cramping up, and like he's like getting heat exhaustion, I got a bloody nose, and I'll look at him and I'll be like, there's nothing I'd rather be doing right now. And
Dude,
yeah, so
you
those
guys are
are
just
three things that I'm
vibes.
very much looking forward to.
You guys are just good vibes all the time. And so whenever I love, have there been a moment when you've been in like the dumps of a race that you felt like you really were about to pull, and then like how like I know Tyler's talked about heat exhaustion, and you just looked at him and you're just like, keep going.
Yeah, that's so there was that, and then there was another. I mean, luckily in the races, or I say luckily because I'm being selfish right now and thinking about myself, but I've fared off better. Like probably a good amount of it is luck, but I've felt better during two of the biggest races that Tyler and I have done. In that, at the 100K, the one that Tyler got heat exhaustion in, and then at Zion, we did a 100-mile race in Zion National Park, and again, he was just like, he couldn't keep any food down, was like throwing up all over the place, and
Oh shit.
just had a really rough time, and thought he was going to back out a couple different times. And so he's had lower lows than I have in terms of racing. So he'd definitely be a better person to speak to as far as tapping out. But I yeah, I mean, I'm sure my time will come, to where I get to that point, and whether I DNF, do not finish, or continue to go will be a story in itself. But I've been lucky enough to not have had experience
Just
those
just
lows
built you're just
before.
built different, Brandon. I've seen your calves.
There, I mean, a time will come. If I continue to do this, it's inevitable that I'll reach a point where it's gonna be like, it's gonna be a tough call. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten there yet. And like part of the journey, and as weird as it sounds, like you almost like want to experience that. It's part of what makes the highs so high, and like part of make what makes like that type of event so special is, hopefully being able to rebound from that and like ultimately carry on and finish. Because that's what, yeah, I mean, that's that's what makes it so rewarding. That's what makes like crossing the finish line and um, being able to say you did it is like so cool. Is like the times where you had to make those like tough calls and the times where you had to like push past a boundary you didn't think you could push past. Um, so yeah, and you look back at those times and you just remember that like you were able to do something like that that difficult, and it makes the next thing more. I don't know if appealing is the right word, but it gives you the motivation to keep going. So
I was gonna.
yeah.
You said that having Tyler there, uh, and running with your brother is like, your favorite thing in the world.
Mhm.
Have you guys always been close through athletics, or is this just because of running that this kind of connection has been found?
Mostly through running. I've, for the most part, always been really close with my brothers, regardless of how much we interact and talk. Because I mean, since college, we've all lived in different cities
Hmm.
pretty much. And so it's been like, I mean, Matt and Tyler live closer to each other now than I do, but we've always connected like quite well. And growing up, my older brother was like my best friend. We'd bunk beds, get back from school and play Madden or play whatever type of games and stuff, and just like
Yeah.
hang out after school. And so growing up, like Matt, my older brother, was like my best friend, and Tyler. I mean, we Matt and I actually like hated Tyler growing up. He was still is 4 years younger than me, and so he was just the worst. so,
And Tyler
so
Tyler told me he was a shithead when he was a kid too.
that
That's
is.
that's from him
I mean,
his
he
mouth.
couldn't have said it better. Yeah. Well, I mean, once he like finally grew up, um, which was somewhat recently, which was yeah, in his mid 20s. No, I mean before that, but like yeah, I mean since us three have been adults, we've all been very close, and that special bond has definitely come from running, I would say,
Yeah.
between Tyler and I over the past couple years, and it's brought us a lot closer. And just because, yeah, we're both so passionate about it, we both share a lot of the same values, and are able to like share experiences that are both unique to us and that are well both unique to us as individuals, and both that we can kind of connect on
Yeah.
um, between one another. And yeah, so I got inspired to run because him and then my mom got into marathon running a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and a couple years after they started doing marathons and like racing, I like slowly got into it, um, and they just inspired me to want to do that. It was just incredible to see. I mean, everything that we've been talking about, just like, the work that they put in, the consistency, just the realization that like you get out of something what you put into it.
Mm.
Um, Neither of them are, I would say, like natural runners, or me, myself, or like myself included. Like we never did it growing up, never in high school. Like we played soccer. My mom was, a swimmer and did volleyball in high school and stuff like that. So like we were into athletics, but as far as like running went, it was just something new, novel, and something that I guess like a lot of things that if you just, focus on and put the time and effort into becoming better, and trust in yourself and set goals that seem unattainable at one point, and then you just like, and you break through those barriers. To me, there's like nothing more that's more rewarding and like self-fulfilling. I mean, we've talked about the food intentions and like community service and being a part of community and giving back and all those things, but just internally, about how you feel about yourself, I can't speak to another um, thing that has affected me more. And so seeing that from an outside perspective and seeing that how it affected Tyler and my mom, and then getting into it and then being able to like relate on that same level of like, whoa, like this is cool. This is what that feels like. And to continue to do it, yeah, has just been, not to be dramatic, but like life changing and
Yeah.
super cool. So yeah, the running has definitely brought Tyler and I closer, and it's something that we love to talk about and love to share with one another.
Yeah. And I know he tells it to your face, but he talks so highly on like the relationship that you guys have, um,
Mhm.
and how you inspire like you're inspired by him and he's inspired by you. It's the perfect like tag team duo. Um,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's it's really special, and like I think, and it's like interesting too because I mean we have this like obvious thing that we have in common, and so we like we talk a little bit more frequently and than like I do with my older brother, but that's just because he doesn't run. But he's very much like inspiring, and as far as his work ethic goes, as far as his like everything else, he owns like values and morals alike, and yeah, we very much like look up to him. And although like running's not his thing, just the way he is, metaphorically puts one foot in front of the other in his life endeavors, whether that's through work, through his family, and just overall like things that are close to him and are like are important to him. That has, over the years of him being our older brother, has rubbed off on us substantially and helped us become the runners and like people that we are. So although Matt like will never run in his life, he it's like his least favorite thing to do. He's very much like lived a life that has inspired us to put that work in, on the road, on the trails, and everything else. So
Hell
I
yeah.
don't think he gets. I don't even know what this means, but I don't think he gets the credit he does, or at least like I don't tell him enough. Hopefully he watches this. Um, but yeah, I don't think he gets the like the credit that he deserves as far as the impact that he's had on our lives and our running
Mhm.
specifically. Just because it's so like indirect, that doesn't seem like it's a big part of it. Um, it yeah, it means a lot to us, and it's been really impactful.
Yeah, I don't think I've met Matt, but he's
You would also like him.
how I so far I like all the Moraleses, so there's a good chance. Um, he's how much older than you is he? A couple years?
He's a year and a half older than me.
Year and a
Yeah,
half. Okay, so you guys
yeah,
are
yeah. So
hand.
him and Tyler actually work together. They yeah, they're partners at Landmark.
Yeah, that's also special. I mean,
Yeah,
For Tyler, he's got a connection to the both of you. I could see why you talk to Matt when you can, and then it's special when you can. But
yeah, yeah.
it
Tyler's a spoiled youngest sibling.
yeah
He's got it all.
doesn't work for it at all.
No.
Zero
He
zero
doesn't work hard at all.
zero work ethic, bad attitude, the whole 9 yards.
Spoon fed everything. Yeah.
Oh, so you said you're gonna just chill out after the 200 for a little bit, or do you have is this your or what does that mean for you?
I
Does that
I
mean
don't
doing
know.
60 miles
Like
a week?
I'm laughing because like I think so, but I don't like that's another part about it. I don't know how I'm gonna feel after. I don't know if I'm gonna like want to like rumble. Like I don't know if it's gonna like fire me up and be like, oh,
400.
like let's. I actually I am signed up for a 300 in April.
Okay,
Of course.
gotcha.
So, but that's in April. Yeah, so I'm doing it's called the Arizona Monster. It's in April of 2026, and then I'm doing the Tahoe 200 next year,
Nice.
which I
So
signed up for. So I got a
okay.
couple things in the books. Um,
So yeah, you're gonna take like
I
a
wrote,
week off, maybe.
I hope at least, but like it's funny because I always like joke about to myself and to like friends that like I mean I've never obviously never done the 200, but I'm always like I really hope I like this distance or else the Arizona and the Tahoe are gonna suck. And like they don't do refunds on these things. Like the only way I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think the only way that you can get your money back or like repurpose it is to like say you're not going to do that race, but sign up for another 200. So
Oh, so you can only like repurpose the
yeah,
ticket.
you can't get they don't do refunds on these things typically.
Huh.
Oh, you don't want to do this one anymore? Well, find another one, cause
Right, yeah, it's like, oh, well then like I'll just do this one.
yeah. It's honestly smart so that people aren't just paying for it and then being like, ah, screw it. I actually don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it sucks, it makes sense, and yeah, yeah, it's just like one of those things that it's like that's kind of a bummer, but it like if you look at it, it checks out. Like
Well,
anybody that has any sense of like running one of those things, I feel, even though like it would hurt for me to like get an email from someone saying like, hey, I'm sick, or hey, I have to go to a family emergency and I can't like attend, like, can I get my money back? It's like even then they're still not able to, but then they can, reuse the funds for a different race if they
yeah.
decide to sign up for one. But yeah, there's limited spots and everything. So like
How many people are doing this upcoming one? Do you know?
I don't know actually. I'm guessing between 100 and 200,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it like is there like a race's difficulty is defined by like the percent that like actually complete it, or is it kind of expected if 100
Mm.
people sign up that 98 of them are gonna eventually get done?
Yeah. I guess that's one way to like rank them unofficially is by how many people finish. I mean, I guess like yeah, I mean that would make sense like statistically. I know a lot of it as well, just like um looking at the data for like what the race entails on paper is another good way. For example, yeah, distance,
Elevation, yeah.
elevation change, altitude that you're sitting at, temperature, yeah, just I mean fluctuation in terms of like what the weather's like.
Type of
Uh,
type of dirt.
yeah, I mean like how tacky the
Yeah.
terrain is. That can make a big difference. Yeah, all those things. So yeah, I don't know if there's like an official way. If you like went on Google or like yeah, if you want to Google and like Google like what's the most difficult race, like you get a variety of answers. I don't think there's any like one in particular that is like considered the most difficult. There's a bunch. There's some crazy ones
Have you heard of
in
this
like
like in the Midwest where there's like it's like a secret and they don't give you the path and it's like
yeah.
invite only. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that is called um uh
It's in like West Virginia or something.
yeah, I think it's in
Tennessee.
the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee or something like
Tennessee.
that. And I'm blanking on what it's called. I should know it. Like if someone said it, it would come to me in a heartbeat. But yeah, there's like
The Barkley.
yeah,
The
that's
Barkley
it.
Marathons.
Yeah, Barkley Marathons. And it's organized by this like dude, I think his name's like Lazarus, like something. But he's just this like crazy
Lazarus Lake.
old Lazarus Lake, yeah. He's this crazy like ultra runner dude. And the race itself is just like it's so nutty. There's no like official like course, but you basically end up doing five consecutive loops of about a marathon distance, and so it ends up being like 130 something miles with like 40,000 feet of climbing. But you're just like bushwhacking the whole time. Typically, I think it's in like late fall, so typically the weather sucks. I think it's usually like pouring rain the whole time
I
with
think
the
this
mud.
says it's in spring or it's in April, basically
Oh, April. Okay. Yeah, I
around
just
April
remember like
Fool's Day.
the weather is typically a big factor.
As of
Um,
2024, only 15 people have finished it.
total.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just in 2024, but yeah, typically like a
Yeah.
couple people finish a year.
Yeah. That's
Jeez.
crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, for anyone that's watching this, I would suggest you look it up.
I think there's
to
a
get like
documentary
the
on it too.
details. Yeah, there's a couple documentaries. I think on YouTube and then Netflix. Um, but yeah, I think they're like less than an hour, but it like that's a whole nother animal as far as like ultra running goes, because a lot of it isn't even about like the running itself. I mean, it's physically demanding, but I think like mentally it just like wrecks you. Um, because there's like tasks that you have to do. Like you have to like go collect certain things along the course and bring them back to the end of the loop each round. And so like it's like a treasure hunt type deal as well. While you're trying to run 130 miles and climb 40,000 feet or how many ever feet you climb.
I want to see that guy's like process for like setting it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, does he create a new course every year essentially, or is it the same
I
loop?
I think it's the same loop ish, but like he puts these like books or whatever like in different areas of the course that are like hidden and oh yeah, and you can't use like a GPS like a watch. You have to use like a paper map as well. And like find these like books and like go like get your bib number and bring it back to the start line and yeah, and there's a time limit too. So which is why only a certain amount of people finish. I think a lot of people like don't actually hit the checkpoint of coming back to the home base after each round. Yeah, so they just like run out of time and get disqualified.
It's like a real life video game, having to find all these.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah. Um, and they have, in addition to Barclays, like all these other like ultras, a lot of them have like live streams too. So like you can kind of follow them as they unfold, um, which is maybe not as exciting as or I don't know, maybe it didn't sound exciting already, but these things go on for days. So it's like you could be watching for 3 hours and like nothing happens. So like if
It's
you are watching one of these things, it's like very unlikely that you'll see all of the
catch
like
anything.
highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going on during your sleep and everything. Like for example, I was watching there's a race called Cocodona 250, which is a 250-mile race, and I think it's in Arizona. Yeah, it's in Arizona. And I mean, I had the stream going, and the stream's go. It's a 250-mile race. The stream's going for like 5 days. So like, I was listening to it like in my car, like on my way to work and coming back home, and there's be 5 minutes of silence here and there, and the commentators are just like exhausted because they're also like not sleeping, and it's
Oh my
crazy.
God. Well, there's
Yeah.
like, oh, and I'm picturing like a golf announcer coming up and be like, oh, and here comes Jeffrey around the corner.
that's that's basically it. It's like, oh, and it's bib number 300. Who is this? This is Kevin, and he's coming into the aid station. And then it's just quiet.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, he's bleeding out of his knees.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's taken off again. And
That's those ultra marathon races are pretty challenging. I didn't realize all of that stuff. I knew about like the 100 milers and all that. I didn't realize there were more races that were above 200. So that's wild to me.
Mm.
But I'm actually
I,
curious because I don't know this answer. Is I'm assuming you've ran a lot of marathons, like just like actual like races.
Handful, yeah.
Is
Like organized races,
yeah.
organized marathons. Um, three actually, not that many. Yeah.
Do you find when you're running? Because I don't know if you've listened to some of this podcast. I've probably mentioned running a handful of times. Um, I really enjoy going for like the mileage over like the time, like the race itself, like just going for the mileage.
Mm.
It sounds like that's probably where you're at too. But do you also enjoy the other factor of like going for time, like for marathons that you run for?
Yeah, yeah. More so the marathon. Like you have a good sense of time and what your goal is. Just because typically they're flatter, and that's just I think like culture wise and goal wise is more attuned with that type of event.
Yeah.
Of course, then the trail racing and the ultra distance and stuff like there are goals as far as like time goes. More so like people are there to finish and like accomplish, like finishing is the accomplishment. Um, Marathons, because there are other factors that make time so important and essential to what you're focusing on. For example, like Boston, people trying to qualify for Boston, like there's a very like specific time that you need to get into Boston, and so that becomes like the main focus of the event, as far instead of being like an accomplishment. And of course, like for like the marathon, I would still say, I don't know if most is the right word, but a lot of people that are doing them. I mean, you got to think that like I forgot what the percentage is, but it's like zero point 0.1 or 0.01% of the people in the world like ever do a marathon. So like because that number is so low, like a lot of people do marathons in order to finish them, regardless of what the time is, and that is still just like super cool. And I think that's even more cool than like shooting for a specific time, is like the accomplishment being the finish line, rather than focusing on like other factors. But yeah, as far as races go, like marathon, like it's typically a really specific time that I'm shooting for, more so to see if I can beat my previous time, instead of going for a time because it's important to society or like whatever.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the trail runs and the distances, it's a lot of it's about the distance and then just the overall experience and the nature, explore, yeah, like all that. Like on the weekends I've been going out for some like bigger efforts, either with friends or solo, and like the primary purpose of those is to just get out there and just see, I mean, to do a hard thing, I guess, but also just to see a lot of things that you don't get to see every day. Like a lot, like a lot of these places are like extremely remote. I've been lucky enough to be able to run in the Cascades and the Olympics all summer, and it has just been phenomenal. And you just like go to all these places that are so remote and that like so far away from anywhere that you'd be able to take a car to. And so that like the only way that you're able to experience those, is by foot, and that's rewarding in itself. And to be able to do that with other people that get the same sort of joy of doing those things is super special. So yeah, kind of like a long-winded answer to your question, but um, I would say like in summary,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I was just curious because, for doing a 200-mile race, a marathon to you is it's not a
Sunday.
piece of cake, but it's a lot less mileage, right? So I was just curious if
Mhm.
like you're now like kind of past the I'm not doing marathons anymore. I'm really enjoying like these a journey in a way is what like the 200-mile race
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it's a
Um,
bit of an odyssey, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, and a marathon
So,
itself is an absolute journey as well. I haven't ran a marathon,
yeah.
so um I can only imagine that being tough. But yeah, I was just curious if like actually running races and competing and trying to get a better time for yourself is something you still are trying to do, or if that's
Mhm.
just more of a if a race comes up, I'm going to do a race and see how well I do, or if you're actually training for like the Boston Marathon, for example. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and I may at one point, like this year and then most of next year, like I'm pretty set on the trail stuff. I was able to accomplish some of the goals that I set out as far as like road racing. I got into Boston. I did a race last year that got me into Boston this year. I did Boston this year. Could talk about it forever. Just a super like positive, overwhelmingly positive experience. I'm blown away by, and will be one of my like core memories forever. That was super special, and that was my like temporarily like my like end goal as far as like road racing, was to get into that race, do that race, and to like just like be able to experience it, reflect on it, and yeah, so that whole thing. I feel like I may get into it again. I still do like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's for the sake of like going out and doing something like hard and like looking back at it and feeling good about it, or what, but I still like do little uh personal like marathons or like time trials just to see like where I'm at. So I'll push myself pretty hard on some runs that aren't like organized races, that are like marathon distance and relatively flat, like trying to see how I like where my fitness is, like my high aerobic fitness at that level, while still training for ultra marathons. But yeah, for the time being, it's more so like the trail stuff and getting fit for that. And um, after I finish the races that I've signed up for, we'll see what I want to do. Everybody always asks about like triathlon stuff, and like I just haven't. It just hasn't sparked my interest. I love running so much that I just have no interest in like
Doing any of
doing
the
it.
other two.
It's like going to a restaurant and like having like a favorite food and like other things being on the menu that also like that they may or may not look good, but you just don't even care because like you have this one thing that like you have been thinking about all week. It's
Yeah.
like oh like yeah, like I don't care that that is their highest rated thing. Like I'm getting this. And that's how I feel about like running. And that's how I felt about, the road running last year, the trail running this year and leading into next year. And I haven't thought too far beyond that. I'm just like currently really obsessed with the space that I'm in, and it makes me feel good, and I don't want to feel any different about that right now. So
Yeah, lean into that
I'm fine with it.
momentum.
I love that analogy.
Yeah,
Lean into the momentum. There's a good chance in 2 years your thing is triathlons because you're like, let's give it a go. But yeah,
maybe.
as soon
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to wrap my head around that right now, just because I do like this so much. But then at the same time, like when I was watching my mom and like Tyler do marathons, like they would ask me like, "Oh, you want to run?" I'm like, "No," but I'll
right,
watch you run. So here I am, like doing the same thing that they're doing. So
Yeah.
signing up, signed up for 700 miles of races over 3 races over
yeah,
the
I'm
next
hoping
year and a half.
they're. I think they're spread out far enough to where I'll be able to recover.
It's great.
You're
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
fine. You're gonna be fine. We're not worried about you. Not
That
worried
was
about you.
that like I accidentally did that with Zion and Boston. I didn't realize what I was doing, but they were a week apart from each other, and so that was hard. I did the Zion
You did Zion
one
first.
week. Yeah, I did the 100 first,
Ooh.
and then let's see. Yeah, so I did Zion. It was Saturday to Sunday. I think we flew home on Monday afternoon. Flew to Boston on Thursday, and then I raced Boston that weekend.
Mm,
And then I accomplished my goal somehow. That was like one
let's
of the ones
go.
that I was more doubtful about, and was like, I'm here in Boston. I got here. That was like the challenge, and now I'm just gonna enjoy the run. And I, yeah, I ended up running under sub 3 at Boston, which wasn't like a PR as far as time goes, but my body was like wrecked from the 100, and like got some food poisoning midweek and like was recovering from that. And I like, yeah,
No, more.
yeah, I was like really proud of that. I like that was hard. The
It's no.
last like 10 of Boston were like really, really hard.
It's no wonder that's a core memory. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
a
mean that also made it like
overcame a lot.
quite
Yeah.
special.
Just
So
all the doubt and the issues leading up to it, and then still coming out and executing at a high level.
yeah, yeah, it was like, I mean, I think there's always luck involved in these things. Like I heard this thing that someone was saying, and I think it's very much accurate. But they were saying like marathons, it's twofold. It's one, like what you put into it, half of what you put into it. The second half is magic, and like anything could happen. You could be, you see like top tier athletes like underperform, overperform, bonk, like whatever, and then you see someone else that may be undertrained, or it's maybe has like some doubts about it, and then just blows himself away. And yeah, so you see like all different sides of that happen. And like you can do your best to prepare for it, and that is obviously the best approach. But when race day comes, anything can happen. And when, the bad thing happens, it sucks. Hopefully you get back on your horse and give it another shot. But when the magic happens, um, it's just
Mm.
it's special. It's
And
cool.
this isn't just the runner's high. This is the everything's clicking for a race,
Yeah,
or you have really good stretches that you're able to push your body more than.
yeah, yeah, and like living, like actually like living that and like being a part of that is, yeah, it's hard to describe or hard to talk about. And anybody else that runs or does something else that I'm guessing, I don't know, like that does something else that they're passionate about, that has a sense of um, euphoria or like eudaemonia,
Mm,
that they can't explain. It's yeah, they know, whoever that is, they know what I'm talking about. You two maybe know what I'm talking about, but yeah, just a warm fuzzy feeling.
yeah. Well, Brandon, just for the sake of time here, I think we should probably ask just one more question.
Hmm.
But this has been awesome. Uh,
Yeah,
I've
really appreciate you having me. It's been great.
I know that it's it's something that you're very passionate about and probably talk about all the time. But for us, it's inspiring to hear just other people who are super into what they do and the amount of effort and time and passion that you have for that thing. And it's you're not just a one trick pony either. Like, of course, you have the running, but you're passionate about food intentions, and you're passionate about your family, and like, so it just radiates that you're really living super aligned to yourself right now, which is super cool and something that I think Coleman and I are both striving for all the time. And anyone who's tuning in to Earn Your Couch is probably looking for a way to live even more aligned. And so I think anyone who listens to you talk uh, feels it. And so I've appreciated this immensely. Um,
Awesome. That means a lot. Thank you.
yeah. And I guess my last question is, if you were to put a billboard on the side of the highway and you just had like a message, you're
Mm.
not promoting a business, you're not doing that, but like you just wanted like a million people drive by this every month. I want them to read that.
What would it say?
What would it say? Or what would it be? It
Uh,
doesn't have to be words.
yeah. Oh man, that's tough. I don't know if I have a good answer for you.
There's no wrong answers.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it, I guess this will be my answer right now, and it would probably change if you asked me a different day, depending on how I'm feeling. But like, just as far as this conversation goes, and me talking about what I love, and I mean, obviously, you could see like how much like joy it brings me, but just something along the lines of like do what you love, and maybe some image of you being around the people that you care about the most. I think those two things in alignment are more powerful than anything. Are doing things that you love, with the people that you love, because I think, it's important to do things that you enjoy, that bring you joy, that lights you up. I think that like really brings out like who people are. I think it allows you to see people's best selves, in a way that they are, whether it's doing something they're good at, that they just enjoy, or something that makes them feel like they have a sense of purpose, and then something that they're able to express their passion. And yeah, so doing something that you love. And I think like we talked about it a bit earlier, I talked about it a bit earlier, but being able to share that with like people that you care about. Like anytime I get back from a run, like I said, I FaceTime Tyler like immediately, or I'll call my family, usually like my mom or dad, and or call one of my best friends, just because I want to like share that moment and that experience with other people, just because it means so much to me, and I want that to like uh be a bit of a domino effect, and I want that like positivity to radiate amongst those that are special to me. And so yeah, something along do what you love, and having the people that you care about most there as well.
I like that. I thought it was gonna be do hard things. If that's what my guess was gonna be.
And like briefly in my head, I was like, oh, should I like yeah, do like yeah, like do hard things or like keep hammering or like something
Yeah.
like that. Like I think those things are cool, and I think there's a place for those. But as far as maybe like a all inclusive, like what it's all about, uh, and like the why, I think the do what you love is more all inclusive.
It's a
You
good
had a
one.
good answer for it.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah, I didn't really know if have anything to say. I'm glad I came up with something.
Hell yeah. Coleman, do you have any last question before we close it down here?
No, I think we wrap it up. This was a great conversation, and Brandon, it's awesome to have you on here. Like Jake said earlier, hearing about how you navigate your day to day and your week to week in your own life. It's just another reminder for like us, but other people listening to this at the end of the day that you can make time for the things you want to do, and the things that you typically want to do are gonna make you feel good. So, um,
100%.
really
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing all that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast, and I appreciate what both of you are doing. Thanks for creating a space where others and myself can talk about things that we love doing. And thank you for, sharing this with others and giving others the opportunity to see this. And I'm excited to continue listening and watching Earn Your Couch and seeing you have more awesome people on here, and then just seeing the conversations between you two too. You have a lot of like great insight, and I think there's a lot of good life lessons to take away from the conversations that you have. So really honored to be here. Thank you both.